How do you advise a family or friends to show support um, um, uh, uh, um, to the vulnerable people suffering from mental health?
I think it's the same thing. Positive signals. You should be sending positive signals all along, all the way, because in a family, you will find it could be, for instance, it could be my brother, older than me, starts to experience mental health. Other members of the family start laughing at the person and saying all negative things. As a family, you need to be talking about that, saying, obviously, this is an illness. He's going through difficult times. It's not deliberate. It's not what he wants to do. Can we support him in this way? Just making sure we're sending those signals, making it a positive experience for the family as well as the person who is experiencing mental health.
Because there's nothing that beats love,
Exactly.
and
So
support.
nothing that beats love.
Yeah, you're right.
And
You're right.
especially coming from the family, it means a lot to anybody.
Yeah. But so this one is probably not the best question. But do you think partying or going to the gym, going to the park, for fresh air, etc. Do you think that help in any way to ease the mental health situation? Like, do you think that
I think all those activities play a bigger part in an individual's mental health. Um, you need fresh air, you need to experience things out there in a normal environment and enjoy. And that helps to ease any pressures you may have in your mental health. So those are very, very helpful examples of what people need. It's normal to want to go to a party. It's normal for one to want to go
to the gym?
to the gym,
Yeah.
to go play football, and all those things because we have so much pent up energy that we want to release. So I think it's a very normal exercise.
Yeah.
Once one is deprived of those things, you can see how difficult their life becomes.
Yeah. Because once you get into that frame of mind, then you've got something to keep you active,
Yeah.
and that's when you won't be able to slip back into that mental breakdown per se. Because basically you are active, and once your mind is active, then I'm not saying because I've never really experienced it, but I would assume that the more you think, is the worse you get.
Yeah, and the more you create a positive image of yourself,
Yes.
you are doing something in society that other people are doing,
Yeah.
something that you see on TV being acted and all
Yeah.
that, and you are doing it. You are part of society.
Yeah.
You really feel you are a free individual. You can enjoy everything like anybody else.
Just like anyone
Yeah.
else. Yeah, because you are special, and you're supposed to see yourself that way.
Yeah.
And number one, you have to remember, you have to love yourself.
Yes,
Yes, because that's very important.
it's very important.
Don't be looking at yourself in a negative light
No.
at no point. And that's why the family should know that they should always be on a positive for that person. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Because if you give that person any form of negative, then you're just beating them down.
You are just beating them down.
Yeah.
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 And no amount of intervention from anywhere else is as important as love within the family household.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it starts, everything begins at home. Yeah. So leads to the next question is if a person finds out that he or she is going through a mental episode, is there a support line or any organization that you would recommend, especially for black people?
I would say there are a lot of organizations out there.
Yeah.
They don't discriminate. They don't say black people, white
Okay.
people.
Okay.
So the first thing is a place like Crisis Line.
Crisis line.
You can look it up in Google, and anyway you can find. They give you a telephone number. You ring them, you explain your situation. They can support you. But more importantly, if you find yourself experiencing something that you've never experienced before and it's affecting the way you structure things, the way you think, and things like that, the first port of call should be your doctor, your GP. So, which is why it is very important to emphasize in our communities that people should be registered with a GP
Yes.
because it helps. All difficulties will start being referred from the GPs. Your GP will refer you to a mental health team who can support you and prevent things getting more serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So That's the first thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you think that the system that's in place to treat mental black person, would you say if it was culture appropriated? Um,
This is one difficult area as far as the way the delivery of mental health services is concerned. You will find there is kind of a straight jacket to the system
okay.
where, like I said to you, psychiatry, the field of psychiatry, which is mental health, is a white dominated field. There's too many white indigenous professionals in that field in higher places, and as a result you will find they are the ones who make decisions. So you find some services provided are not exactly representative of the cultures in the area. You will find some activities that are recommended may not appeal to some guys from
Yes.
the black community.
Black community.
So
yes.
on the aspect of culture, that's something
It's very borderline.
it's very borderline. you
And
know.
that's where the issue is. That's where the big issue is, because maybe, just maybe, if there was more of that culture understanding, like we were saying before,
Mhm.
then maybe there wouldn't be that many people,
Yeah.
black people, per se, in them still in that level of mental health
Exactly.
situation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because not having what you used to or what you know or your culture. So for example, if you're from Nigeria and then I'm from Jamaica, or you're from Angola and then I'm from Ghana,
Yeah.
then basically we are all from different places, so we
Yeah.
are different cultures. Even though we're
Yeah.
black,
Yeah,
we're still not
we're still not the same.
the same. You know?
So we need to understand that diversity.
Yes.
They should. Most people, when they talk of diversity in this country or in
Yeah.
most countries,
Yeah.
they look at diversity in terms of the representation: black people, brown people, white people, this, that, and the other. They don't realize that there is also diversity within the black population.
Well, exactly.
See, so
And
that's something that will take a long time to
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, and that's very
Because-
important.
Yeah.
That's very what you just said then, because that's key.
Mm.
Because that's a big misunderstood as well. Because
Exactly.
people don't see that, because even though we're black,
Yeah.
we're from different cultures.
cultures.
So someone out there from a next culture will see us and just assume
Yeah,
that, oh, that's two black man, which we are.
we are.
Yeah, but we are not from the same background, the
we're
same
not-
culture.
Yeah, we're not from the same culture. You will find there are certain beliefs, some norms that go along with my culture that you don't subscribe to.
Exactly. So
You see?
and it's vice versa, you know.
Mm.
So that is key, and these are the issues that need sorting out.
That
And I would assume that these organisations that's looking into the black mental health situation would have already looked into these situations and maybe trying to get their foot
yeah,
on that ladder to try and climb, because it would be better off, I believe, if there was some private organization in especially the black community
yeah,
that does private jobs just for the black community. I know
Exactly.
I know it's probably sound a bit wrong, because obviously if you're suffering from mental health, that doesn't have a cultural barrier, because people from all ethnicities suffers from mental health.
yeah.
So
And the thing with mental health is it's seen differently in every culture. Whereas if you were to see me under the tree talking as if I'm talking to God or talking to Jesus, it's easy for me to be labeled as hearing voices, isn't it? And
Yes.
that will be psychosis.
yes,
And I could end up being thrown into hospital against my wishes because
yeah,
I was talking to myself and I was believing I was talking to a God who I can understand and the God can hear me. But that's not the point. The point is we have different belief systems across all cultures and we need to respect that.
yes.
You see?
That's very important.
So it's a really difficult point to work from, especially when you're working in a field that is so straight jackets, that's so well defined. Psychosis is defined in terms of what you're doing or how you are presenting, and sometimes how I present when I am in my culture is different from the way I present when I'm working in the office.
Exactly. You see, so you know, because you have to act accordingly.
Accept.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like someone from um, black background or even from your nationality background would be, because like we said, it's different cultures, so they would be happy to see a person like you or to be in a care, a your care should I say, yeah. When you know what I mean, because you understanding that person, understanding their language.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean,
Yeah.
that would make them feel at home, you know.
Yeah, I mean, see, there are some things I could tell you now, but obviously I
Yes,
can't tell you because
exactly,
of
yeah.
professional reasons.
Exactly.
Where I as a professional have come and seen clearly that what my colleagues are calling psychosis, it's something I grew up with. I saw it in my culture. I have read about it in other cultures, and I know
Yeah.
it doesn't constitute psychosis,
no.
but you have to go along with the scientific definition that is there.
So,
And,
so what's mad, yeah, and that brings me back, because when I was younger and I'm in Jamaica, yeah, so the kids that were born in England, yeah, and the parents would deem them to be not behaving themselves, yeah, what those parents would have done is send those kids to Jamaica,
yeah,
yeah, and when them kids come to Jamaica, they don't go to the doctors, yeah, so it's almost as if they come to boot camp or
Yeah.
come to the rehab in a certain way, because at the end of the
Yes.
day, yeah, you're gonna get your attitude right,
Yep.
whether you like it or not, by the time you
Exactly.
leave Jamaica. And if you ask maybe 50 guys now who's probably born here and grew up in Jamaica, which is there are a lot of them,
Yeah.
yeah, who's been sent there to grow up,
Yeah.
they will tell you that it was the best time of their life
Yeah.
living
And-
there. You know what I
and,
mean?
and this is the same with kids that have been sent back to Africa. Have been sent back to Africa for 5 years. When they come back here, completely changed. They are, you know, this is how, you know, culture can influence how a person's life becomes, you know.
It's very important. It's very,
very
important.
important.
I've got one last question for you, Douglas. Do you think being black could make you being treated different when suffering from mental health?
I can tell you that happens a lot. Like I said, I'm not admitting this in my capacity as a worker in the system.
No.
It's my own personal
View,
capacity.
yes, that's
And I've
it.
seen it happening. I've
Yeah.
seen even the way the police would treat me when they see me. I first worked, when I came to England,
Yeah.
I first worked in a very white area. There
Yeah.
were no black people.
Yes.
And I remember getting stopped by the police more than 20 times in a month
Wow.
and being asked silly questions. Can you open your boots? Can you see your driving license? Can you see that? Can you see that? And they did nothing really. The same people who stopped you today would stop you
Stop it
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
It's just because I'm different. You see, and that is me. I'm a professional. Imagine if I'm not,
Yeah.
I would react and I would really cause a scene, and then that's when I ended up getting tasered and all that. You see, because there is this belief that, oh, this person could be dangerous. And that is what happens. Unfortunately.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just as easy as that. Going to your job,
Yeah.
which your profession, you're helping people, which is going through difficult times, but then still have to deal with, you know, still be looked down on.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you are what you are. You can't be doing that kind of job you are saying you're doing. So we need to investigate you further.
Yeah. But on that topic, yeah, even though the situation is what it is amongst us, and what advice would you give to these young kids these days, yeah, about trying to become a more of a what should I say, a significant figure in helping the black community going through, because like you said, there wasn't anyone at the top,
Yeah.
yeah, to do these things, and like you said, there isn't enough of us in the system to make the changes.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking you this question. So it might sound a bit off, but it's not. It's just to come back to that, because there isn't enough people, black people per se, in the system
Yeah, yeah.
who are doing this job, what you are doing now. You understand me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there isn't enough people who are in that position up there to try and change things where there should be change.
Yeah.
And every aspect of the black lives that you go through, this is what we suffers from. Yeah, we haven't got the right people in the right place to make the right decisions. Yeah, and that's become a big problem. You know, a big problem, because we can't change if we haven't got the people to make those changes. Yeah.
I mean, my advice really would be, let's try to advise families to get children involved at a younger level, support them through the learning system, because you can't get to those top positions without going through the education system. So if we can support our young people to go through the learning experience, get to understand more about these issues, that's the only way we can be able to contribute to the development of policies, of interventions and things like that. Because really, our culture is very important. It needs, we need to be telling the positive stories of our culture, and no one is doing that right now. So the people at the top, they hear it, they think it's folk tales and things like that, but culture is dynamic, it keeps changing, and it's up to now. We have evolved over the years, but it's very striking that there are certain aspects of culture that remain in any particular community. You don't, as much as culture is dynamic, you don't assimilate to other cultures that easily. There are certain aspects that will stick with you for the rest of your life.
And that's what some people don't understand, or they don't respect
Yeah.
that, because everyone else has got their culture, but for some reason they don't think that our culture is that important, or it should be considered. You know, everything has been narrowed, everything has been marginalized, everything has been, you know what I mean, when it comes to being black. You know,
exactly.
yeah, but at the end of the day, we didn't ask to be born.
No, we
You
didn't.
get what I'm saying to you? Yeah. God make all of us as human beings. Yeah. So we are human beings first. You understand what I'm saying to you? When we was born, we was all born as babies.
Exactly.
You understand? They didn't say, oh, the black baby, the white baby, the pink baby. No, they said,
Yeah.
oh, the babies, you're a baby. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now when you're growing up, now people start, you understand? And this is wrong.
It's wrong, and we don't even know what color God is, isn't it?
No.
We don't know what color God is. We don't even know what color Jesus was. Although the representations we are given when you go to church, Jesus, the Son of God, was white, with long hair, all that stuff. That's only someone's creation, isn't it? What we know about God is that He made us in His image.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what is God's image that we hear? Anyone here of us is in God's image, no matter whether I'm white, black, or whatever.
It's mad. It's mad. But Douglas, it was a nice interview, yeah, and it's
been a pleasure.
been a pleasure, man. Yeah? Nice talking to you, Doug, man.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Man.